Okay. So I wanted to talk about, immaturely talk about body odor. Okay. Because as of lately, I've been talking about this to my family and my friends because last Tuesday, as I was sitting here having this screaming match with Priest for about 2 hours, he spent one of those hours talking to me about how I smell. And usually when men throw out, vagina smell and things of that nature, they just butt hurt because they penis little or, some little fuck shit like that. People like to throw, insults at each other during breakups and things of that nature. So I wasn't really paying it any mind. Like, when he first started talking about it to me, I was like, okay. And then he kept trying to rub it in, and I kept saying, why are we still talking about my vagina? It's been like 20 minutes, and you're still talking to me about my vagina. And so most people know I'm about 14 weeks pregnant. And any woman who has been pregnant, you know that the way that you used to smell, you no longer smell that way. You have a whole different pregnancy smell, and you might even hate your pregnancy smell. And on top of that, your nostrils are like fucked in the game because you're smelling everything like 3 to 5 times more than you would actually smell that shit. Like you're going around smelling shit like a hound. Your sense of smell has elevated to the degree of I don't know what, right? It's just ridiculous, right? And so I'm going around and I'm smelling everything. Everything is making me throw up. Every smell is making me throw up. Every smell is making me nauseous. And this is how the first trimester of pregnancy is. And most women who have been through pregnancy, they know this. And sometimes their sense of smell is sensitive like that for the next 2 months. The next 2 trimesters, they're just like that their entire pregnancy. So far, it hasn't been as bad. Okay, my sense of smell is going back to the way it was, but I used to get a whiff of something and be about to throw up. I couldn't even walk in restaurants. That's how bad it was. And me and Priest couldn't go on dates because I could not walk into anywhere without smelling somebody and feeling like nauseous. And even he stunk to me. Like just his natural smell. And I don't even think it was him. It was more of just my sense of smell is ridiculous. I didn't like skin. I didn't like sweat. I didn't like my own sweat. I didn't like breath. I didn't like anything, nothing. Everything just stunk. And I would have to lay next to him every day. And he has GERD, right? Really bad GERD. So there's certain things that he can't eat. If he eats certain things, he smells like bile and acid, because that's how people usually smell who have.
It's been said that knowledge is power. So learn the warning signs of uterine cancer, like bleeding that's not normal for you, or unusual pelvic pain or pressure. Knowing is powerful, maybe even life-saving.
My name's Annabelle.
My name's Anuj.
We've been married for 5 years.
5 years? Okay. Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah.
Who have GERD, and then their breath is like really, really bad. And plus his oral hygiene was so bad that in the back of his mouth, he had like, teeth that he would pick at in the back of his mouth every time he ate. And so, the way his breath smelled was something that I could usually deal with on a regular day, or even the GERD, because I'm not the type of person that think that nobody stinks. I think that everybody to some degree is going to stink eventually if they don't take a shower, if they don't brush their teeth, if they're working at, out at the gym, they're going to be funky. It's times I've climbed Stone Mountain, and by the time I get to the bottom of that thing, I smell ridiculous. Okay, I'm smelling like trees, woods, dirt, wind, funk, all types of stuff because I've been hiking. So, for me, I never really was tripping off of smell like that. And so on top of my pregnancy smell, each woman knows we all have the smell of a vagina, right? A vagina is not supposed to smell like roses or lilacs and shit, Irish Spring and shit. That's not how a vagina is supposed to smell. And they offer like a whole bunch of products like dishes, depositories, things of that nature for us so we can control our vagina smell. But when we use these things, it throws off our pH balance and makes us actually smell worse. So we're always taught, don't douche, don't use, certain products on our vaginas because it's gonna make us smell worse. And so for me, I stopped dishing a long time ago. Like I was like, I can't dish because dishing just makes it worse. And so for me, I'm the type of woman that I shower about 3 times a day. I don't like to sweat. I don't like to be hot. I get hot very, very easily. I don't like it. So any place that I'm in, the shit needs to be at least 55 degrees, 60 degrees, okay? The lowest is about 55, right? It needs to be between 55 and 65 degrees or I'm going to start sweating. I'm going to get hot. Now, if I don't shower about 3 times a day or maybe twice a day, I'm going to stink. That's the type of person I am. I'm going to stink. Like it's no underarms, vagina, shit underneath my breasts. My feet will probably stink. My butt will probably stink if I don't take a shower. And usually that's normally how people are. So here I am. Let's rewind back to my first trimester of pregnancy. My ass is laying around. I can't even get up to get in the shower. Like I'm so fucking sick that I barely want to sit up and brush my teeth. That's how sick I was. Like, if I had a nurse to give me a sponge bath, that would be awesome. But I would literally have to be dizzy, nauseous, exhausted, it was horrible. I try to tell people, you ever had the flu? That's what the first, a bad case of the flu. That's what like the first trimester of pregnancy is, or if you got a really, really bad hangover. Okay, that's what the first trimester of pregnancy feels like for a woman. Plus, we're belching, we're farting. It's like the nastiest time in a woman's life. It's horrible, okay? And so I'm not even washing as much as I normally would. I'm not cleaning up. I'm not doing nothing. I'm sick as hell, right? So Priest has to come home and deal with the fact that I'm sick as hell. Now, you got to be a strong motherfucker to be able to deal with this shit. Now, me, I'm the type of person, I'm grown. I done seen people sick before in my household. I done seen people throw up, and I done seen people sick and stink and all kinds of stuff. And usually when people are sick, you have to clean up after them. Priest had never had to clean up any throw up or anything, but he did have to clean up the bathroom and wash.
Are those your bank fees?
Yeah, first there's the overdraft, and then the maintenance fee, which I don't know what they maintain.
You should start banking with China.
And wash the dishes. And really, it's easy to do that when you live in a studio apartment. It's kind of small, so it's not really, a lot of work. It take you, about 15 minutes to wash some dishes and then wash the bathroom once a week, So, and possibly wash clothes. Like, we used to wash clothes together sometimes. And then other times, I just couldn't do it. And so, the reason why I'm even talking about this is because I just said recently in my last speaker that someone sent me a series of videos. Inside of these videos, it's like videos of me, it's text messages. And inside of one of the videos is a text message of me and Priest talking about the way that I smell, right? Now, again, I've had to deal with his GERD, his breath. I mean, he's taken a shit in front of me with the door open, and I've had to smell that, and I could care less, you know what I'm saying? Because I love him, you know what I'm saying? It's not like when you become an adult and you've been around a person long enough, these aren't things that you thinking about. Like, I know that if he shits, he's going to stink. I know that if he doesn't shower after he goes to work, he's going to smell. I know that if he farts, it's going to stink. I know that if he eats the wrong thing because he has GERD, he's going to smell, right? So I know this. So I'll say to him, listen, don't eat such and such because, you're going to smell, you're starting to smell funny, or your breath smells such and such way. I'll just say it. Not make fun of him, but just let him know if he doesn't know. I mean, usually when you stink, you kind of know yourself, so you're not gonna, you don't need an announcement. But sometimes he wasn't even aware. Like, he was so used to the smell of how his breath would smell or how his GERD would smell that he wouldn't even know. So I would just be like, you smell like that again. Now, again, during my pregnancy, it's worse. All right. Like, it's like he's smelling 10, 20 more times worse than he usually would smell. But I'm not making fun of him. I'm blaming my damn self. because I'm just in a miserable state. I don't really want to do anything but go to sleep. I don't want to argue. I don't want nothing. I don't feel good. I just really am trying to just make it past, my first trimester of pregnancy. So I'm really not thinking about, this immature shit, right? I'm really not. Because when I met him before I was pregnant, I've seen him clean. I've seen him smell good. I've seen him look his best. So I didn't think anything about it. Like I wasn't, I just thought it was something I wasn't thinking about. So anyway, one day, and this was right before he left, this was I told you that Monday, he said that he wanted to leave. He didn't want the relationship. He didn't want the baby. He didn't want, all of this stuff. Now, a couple of days earlier, I think it was 2 days earlier, maybe 3. No, 2 days. Oh no, it was the day before actually, because he texted me this. He called me and told me that he didn't want the relationship and that he wanted to date his ex and that he didn't want the baby on a Monday. So that Sunday, I was supposed to wash the sheets and the towels while he went out to get his car fixed. And so I had ate like a salad and I had put too much Caesar dressing on it. So I was so nauseous. And this was just 2 weeks ago, something like that. I was so nauseous. So I texted him, I said, listen, I might not clean the sheets and the towels by the time you get back because I'm sick. I'm about to try to sleep that shit off because I'm so sick. I can't do it. Just try to understand.
My name is Charmaine, and I just discovered Premier Protein. I have a very active family. I couldn't keep up anymore. I like the chocolate one. It actually tastes...
And he says, make sure you wash your ass because you already know. Like basically making fun of me. Like if you don't wash your ass, you won't stink. Right? Now, that's an insensitive shit to say to somebody who it just told you that they sick. I said, it's not that I didn't wash my ass. I already got in the shower. It's just I'm not, washing the towels and the, sheets. So by this time, he's made little slick comments about my smell so much that I'm starting to get annoyed by it. And like I said in the video previously, he's like verbally abusive. So he's saying little slick comments and shit that's starting to get annoying to me, especially during my pregnancy. It's like, nigga, when is the slick comments and the low blows going to stop? Like nobody want to be in this abusive shit all the time. Like if you can't speak positivity in my life, you don't need to be here. Like if everything you say got to be a little snide remark and be ugly and slick and, making fun of me and shit, well, I don't want you around because I don't do that to him. The only time I speak negatively to him is when he say something fucked up to me. Right? That's the only time. So he says, that slick shit. And I said, listen, if you got an issue with the way that I smell, because I'm starting to hear you talk about this more often. We in 6 months of our relationship. He knew how I smelled from the beginning of my relationship with him till now. So for him to be, acting like it's like this big deal now is annoying the fuck out of me. And I've never, stressed him about, how he smells. I've never like made fun of him or made like this big issue. And so I said to him, if you got a problem with the way that I smell, you might want to just break up with me. We can't be together. And then he says, well, then maybe we shouldn't be together. And then he asked me about soap. But by this time, I had basically blocked him out and went to sleep. Because after that last text message where I said, listen, if you don't like the way I smell, then maybe we shouldn't be together. And I said, the men that used to molest me and sexually assault me and abuse me and shit used to use my smell as a way to fuck me up. But that's something that men do to a lot of women. That's not some new shit. But I told him I wasn't going to put up with that shit with him. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been through that with men, the men who molested me and the men that sexually abused me. They would use how I smell as if, I smelled so bad and try to use it as like this thing to pull me down in regards to my, self-esteem and things of that nature. And I could never understand, if you don't like the way a woman smell, why do you continuously keep fucking her? You see what I'm saying? That's the shit I don't get. That's how I know niggas say shit like this to be ugly. They say shit like this because they themselves are feeling some type of way about themselves. And so I'm telling him, don't be these niggas. Because I'm not going to tolerate it. And so the topic of conversation was dropped. He didn't talk about that shit again. And the next day he decided to break up with me because of he said because he wanted to be back with his ex. He didn't want the baby. He didn't want the relationship anymore. So I told him to walk and don't come back. And here's the funny thing. You know, the pregnancy smell I said I had a pregnancy like smell, like that was different. And he was thinking, well, maybe we both was thinking this because I said to him, maybe it could be a sexually transmitted disease because he had been sleeping with women before me, right? Here's the thing. I was celibate, right? I think I had sex with Daddy-O. Y'all know about Daddy-O. I had sex with Daddy-O. And I had sex with a guy that I was dating before him. And me and him had sex maybe twice, right? And
before I was diagnosed by my doctor, I didn't know why my body was moving on its own. My eyes blinked way too.
And this is in like a 3 or 4 year span. I'm only having sex. I only had sex like I can count on one of my hands. But Priest was sleeping with women before he got with me. He was going on dates with women, having casual sex with women. I found out he wasn't using protection. And he also had been sleeping with his wife he was supposedly separated from. And she was sleeping with another man who had a girlfriend. And so you have to think about that. You have to think about, okay, he slept with a whole bunch of women, casual sex, right? And you don't know who those women he having casual sex with are sleeping with. Okay? Think about that. And then he's sleeping with his wife. And his wife is sleeping with a guy she's dating. And that guy has a girlfriend. And he's sleeping with his girlfriend. Think about that. That's like an STD waiting to happen, right? And so I say this to him. And we can even use it with the people I slept with. Because I slept with one guy before Priest, and who was he sleeping with? You know what I mean? And then Daddy-O, I was sleeping with Daddy-O last year. Who was he sleeping with? So you have to think about shit like this. And so whether you use protection or not, because it's diseases out there that you can get that protection ain't gonna keep you from. You know what I mean? You could put on a rubber and still get some type of nasty ass disease. So I was thinking maybe my vagina smelled this way because of an STD. So I said it to him. I said, maybe the reason why it smells like it's a different smell is because of the STD. And I said it to him. I said, when I go to the doctors again, I'm going to have them test me for STDs because I still have not been tested for STDs because I won't let anybody take my blood. I won't let anybody do a pelvic exam on me because I'm still scared. You know, this pregnancy is new to me and I'm afraid. I don't want to lose my baby. I don't want nobody digging in me,